Hello, and welcome back to our continuing Settlement Survival Let's Play Series Season 2. I'm Larry, and it's on Episode 10. And boy, do I have a wonderful thing to show you today. It is glorious. Now, I've made it pretty clear that I really don't like this whole food raw materials category because, you have to share it with dried animal dung, fertilizer, and fodder. And, putting your animals and your fields together, it gets to be a real pain in the butt. And so, yeah, you know, I made my opinion very clear on it. But I also said that I'm doing my best to get a workaround. So, yeah, I am proud to announce today I have a workaround, and it is glorious. So, and it's expandable, and we can do all sorts of fun stuff with it. So as you can see, I have animals on the right side, and I have a crop on the left side. This is just temporary. Real life got in the way yesterday, so I couldn't do much on my map, but I'm like, darn it, I'm going to show this because I'm like super happy over it. So, let me show you the layout on this. So we have our animals. Then we're going to set up a transfer station. And with this transfer station, we're going to set the filters for beverages, which is water. And then we're going to go into our food raw materials and make sure that's clicked on. And as you can see, food raw materials includes dried animal dung. And I specifically expect dried animal dung to get thrown into this warehouse because we have all of our little animals. So, next we have housing. And the reason why I have housing is the priority of warehouses for our settlers to use is literally based on distance and the filters that they have. So, I went ahead and put housing in because one, it puts our settlers next to their workstation. So that's, increases our efficiency there. Now we go into production. As you can see, I have compost, which requires dried animal dung and water. So I set up our first small supply station. Now, you can use large. It doesn't really matter. And, I have it set on the wrong settings. What we're going to want is to put dried animal dung in there. I was doing a workup for the distilleries as well, but I wanted to show off this production instead. So, this right here is going to deliver our water and dried animal dung right into these buildings. So I don't have to worry about workers pathing around trying to find this stuff. And they're going to deliver into this transfer station. Now, this transfer station is set up specifically only to accept food raw materials, which of course is everything in this category. Our dried animal dung and our fodder and our fertilizer. So all that's going to go in here. Now I know you're probably saying, Larry, you're really not fixing anything because more than likely dried animal dung is going to get tossed in this warehouse. And you're right. There is a good chance of it. But we have to look at priority. This supply station, since it is right next to this transfer station, if any dried animal dung gets put into this warehouse, it's going to pull from this warehouse first, then deliver out. If this is empty, it is going to pull the dried animal dung out of this warehouse. So, I am keeping this warehouse as clean as possible. So the only thing that we get put in here is fertilizer and our fodder. Now, over here, I've basically had the same process. Over here, we have our fields. I only put one in just to show it, but over here I would have corn and beans, or corn and soybeans, and I think corn and chickpeas. So I set this filter up right here just to bring in the rough food, which is, of course, the corn and the beans or the soybeans or the chickpeas, whatever. I went ahead and set up the same buffer with housing, which, of course, now our workers go directly to their houses. This right here, since I don't have any corn right now and I'm out of peas, it won't let me select it, but that's going to deliver to these fodder plants, and then they're going to dump directly into this transfer station. Now, the really cool thing is with how our herdsmen are set up and with how our farmers are set up, they don't have very far to path to grab what they need. And the great thing is since this is a transfer station, if we wind up filling this up with fodder and fertilizer, it's just going to shoot it out to other parts of the map. And then I also thought I could take this one step up even higher. And if I put a second transfer station right here and just moved all this stuff over, then it's going to get really supercharged, because this is basically going to stay full of fertilizer. This is going to stay full of fodder, and it's going to disperse it all over the map. So I solved my problem. I no longer have to worry about this warehouse getting filled up with dried animal dung and forcing my fertilizer and fodder out of this warehouse, because, like I said, they're going to the herdsmen are going to deliver the dried animal dung here, but if any of them gets a wild hair and drops it in here, the supply station is going to immediately pull it out, because it's going to want to supply from the closest warehouse, and bam, there we go. Now, does it have its faults? Well, if you're massively overproducing in animals, you're going to pretty much destroy any system. But if you want to really amp up your production, all you have to do is place the second transfer station right here. Now, I use the transfer stations and the supply stations because as we build our network up and have animal power, we'll be able to move products a whole lot faster. Now, will this work without transfer stations and supply stations? Yes, but you just have to scale it down. What you'll want to do is place a warehouse here, maybe 2 compost plants, and then maybe 2 fertilizer plants, then your housing, then, of course, another warehouse, have the same settings as this, and then your fields. And they should want to pull from this warehouse first as far as your dried animal dung. So you don't have to have the big tech for this, but you can actually scale this up to be a main engine to distribute stuff across your map. So for workaround and using the least amount of resources, the least amount of warehouses, and all that other fun stuff, this is probably the most efficient way of keeping a warehouse clean, keeping your production up 100%, being able to tie your animals and your fields together with the the most efficiency as possible. And you could still, the great thing is you can do this as a loose build because your supply stations are going to move the products for you. So I'll be able to space these things out, put trees and all that in there, and it's still going to work perfectly. So I just wanted to show everybody this. Hopefully you'll love it. Hopefully you can, you're going to look at your own production on your map and be like, ooh, I can use this in multiple ways, because it just doesn't have to be, trying to keep dried animal dung out of your warehouses. You can tie this to so many different production in your builds that it works absolutely beautifully. And you can do it at any tech level. So if you like what I said, hit like. And yes, we are at 60 followers, so more and more people are starting to join the channel, and I thank them. And just remember, leave comments, because you might have an idea that, maybe it might not work, or it might work, and I'll take it to the next level and see if we can get something rolled out. I love those challenges. So appreciate your time for watching the video. I'm having a great day. You have a great day. And I will talk to all of you later. Bye.